Hello, Facebook. So I am doing a tip every single day, all the way up until Christmas Day. So for the next, I think it's like 78 days, if I'm right. I'll be doing a tip every single day up until Christmas. So it's going to be a fat loss tip every single day. And today's fat loss tip is control your carbohydrate intake. So people are, it seems like people are either on one side or the other, where they're like, oh no, carbohydrates are race. You should eat loads of them, or like carbohydrates should be completely avoided at all costs. Stuff like Atkins diet and ketogenic diets and stuff like that, which have their place. And so does the other argument. The argument comes from this side is all about calories and this side is all about carbohydrate intake. I've kind of obviously researched both of them, the main factor being the calorie intake. However, controlling carbohydrates can be an amazing tool when it comes to fat loss. The reason being, carbohydrates are generally really easy to overindulge. Things like starch carbohydrates and potatoes and all these kind of things. They're very easy to overindulge. Obviously, cakes and sweets and all this kind of stuff contain carbohydrates. So if you're controlling your carbohydrates, generally you're avoiding this kind of stuff. Yeah, you're avoiding foods that contain a large amount of sugar. From a fat loss point of view, that's amazing. Not to mention, if you're avoiding this stuff, then what are you having instead? You're having foods like meat, chicken, foods that contain a large amount of protein and like healthy fats. These kind of foods have a lot more satisfying. They make you feel fuller. They're better from muscle building point of view. So obviously having a decent amount of protein is obviously going to help with muscle development. The more muscle you develop, the faster your metabolic rate, because your body needs to fuel that muscle. Yeah. So there's two extremes of it. You don't need to go to one extreme or the other. But I think the problem we often find is it's not necessarily like carbohydrates are bad. But if carbohydrates are like 60% or 70% of your diet, then you're probably not eating enough protein to help build and recover muscle. You probably haven't got enough healthy fats in your diet. So from a hormonal point of view, you're going to suffer. So carbohydrates aren't the devil. However, you do, from a fat loss point of view, you do need to control carbohydrates. Whether or not you need to reduce your carbohydrate obviously depends on how much carbohydrates you are currently consuming. If you're not getting enough protein in your diet, and I've done a post a couple of days ago actually about protein intake, if you want to have a look at that. But yeah, if carbohydrates are a large amount of your diet, then you're going to have ups and downs in terms of blood sugar. You're going to be feeling great and then drop down and then feel good again and then drop down. You probably haven't got enough protein in your diet. So control your carbohydrate intake. Make sure you've got a significant amount of protein. Make sure you've got a decent amount of healthy fats, and your macronutrient ratios are solid day by day. That is it. Thanks for watching. I'll do another fat loss tip tomorrow. I'm not sure what it's about. I've got a list of things I want to try and go through for the next 76, 78 days or whatever until Christmas. So stay tuned.